1850 psi punching power, a lab-built giant, and across from him, not the Eiffel but the Italian stallion, Rocky Balboa. So in 1985, was Ivan Drago losing to Rocky normal or a giant Hollywood fairy tale? Tonight, two things step into the ring: the rules of boxing and the rules of cinema. Welcome. In this video, we put two strong takes in opposite corners. In one corner, amateur Drago versus pro world champ Rocky. Of course the pro wins. In the other, this isn't about amateur pro. This is Cold War cinema, propaganda, drama, and exaggeration. We'll also sprinkle in Rocky 1's emotion and a fair defense of Drago. At the end, we'll decide if the result is realistic, or we won't. Drago was an amateur champion. Rocky was a seasoned professional world champion. Sounds simple? Amateur professional. Amateur boxing. 80s. Short rounds. Era-dependent 3-pace-2 or 4-white-2. Headgear. Protective refereeing. Points first. Professional heavyweight. Then, up to 12-15-3. Minute rounds. No headgear. Cuts allowed to continue. A much harsher marathon. That's why some say, Drago losing to Rocky is normal. Lasting to the final bell is the real achievement. But hold up. If we end it there, we're not being fair to Rocky 4. Because inside that ring, things are different. The film says Drago's punch measures 1850 psi. For scale, a typical heavyweight is often cited around approximately 700 psi. On screen, Drago's a wrecking ball. Then there's the 100 fights, 100 KOs boast. In real amateur boxing, knockouts are rare. Point scoring, headgear, heavier gloves, and protective refs. The film gives us a lab-made, power-first Drago, pretty much the opposite of the real Cuban Soviet school, which prized minimal risk, footwork, and clean scoring. Apollo's in his 40s. A showman coming back age is a risk, sure, but the real issue is officiating and safety. After the 1982 Kim Duk-Koo tragedy, protocols were far tighter. In Rocky 4, the ref is late, and a show match turns into a war. Translation? The movie is chasing drama, not bylaws. Rocky not throwing in the towel is dramatic, just not great ring safety. In reality, the USSR and Cuba banned professional boxing. Teofilo Stevenson turned down millions due to state policy. Drago fighting a pro bout in the US? Politically, that's fantasy. Rocky 4 isn't documenting Soviet sport, it's staging a Cold War narrative. Rocky's training, primal, freezing, stubborn. Drago's, clinical, sterile, mechanized. The movie pits heart, grit, and pain tolerance against raw, engineered power. Technical boxing analysis becomes secondary, because the story is about the human spirit beating the machine. Rocky I tells the timeless underdog versus titan story with real melancholy. Rocky's goal wasn't to win, it was to last 15 rounds. Sounds small, but in life, sometimes the greatest victory is simply staying on your feet. That's why Rocky feels like our story. The Apollos and Dragos can be the system, luck, or arrogance. Rocky is our stubbornness. Look from another angle. Drago behaves like a disciplined, respectful pro. He doesn't clown opponents, he listens to his coaches, he keeps it business. In the Apollo bout, he plays to win. The tragedy stems from officiating, the corner, and the spectacle turning into a storm. The film paints him as a villain, but you can read him differently. The amateur versus pro argument is partly right, but not enough on its own. Drago's stats, power, and politics are film-level exaggerations. Apollo's death in the officiating? Cinema over rulebook? Rocky's victory? Less technical truth, more cinematic catharsis. Drago losing to Rocky makes sense in the script, more than in the handbook. And that's why we still talk about it. Two things fought in that ring: power and will. And that stubborn guy drinking raw eggs in a drafty cabin won. With heart. Now it's your turn. Was Drago's loss realistic or Hollywood's golden haymaker? Drop real or legend in the comments to pick your corner. Hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Next time, we'll break down the psychology of Rocky's famous stair run. See you there.